Today's episode is all about rat apocalypse. Rat apocalypse. Wow. Rat apocalypse. What does that mean? That means you have a huge infestation. And whose fault is it? Well, stay tuned as you're going to find out soon. And also, an FYI, there are going to be a lot of mic drops today. So just kind of be forewarned of, what could happen. Who knows why that's going to happen? And also, you could have some family pets. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frayne. I'm the host. Today, I am joined with Neil Matheson, my editor-producer, and we're going to be talking about the rat apocalypse, David Eby's rat apocalypse. And why are we talking about rats today? Family pets. You could have family pets running amongst your units, going in between the walls, and who knows where else they're going to end up. Mice, rats. Wow. How come this is happening? Well, stay tuned on today's episode as we're going to be diving into why this is happening, and a lot of mic drops, like I said at the intro. Why is there going to be mic drops? Well, you'll find out. So, Neil, what's going on with rats in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, I I hesitated to talk about this. I wrote an email to the government a few days ago, I think it was on Monday, about the rat infestation problem in my building. I wrote to Gary Begg, and I wrote to Eleanor Sturko, and they're Eleanor Sturko is the shadow minister for public safety here in BC,
Okay.
right? She's the official opposition critic for public safety, and Gary Begg here is the BC minister for public safety here, right? And so I wrote an email because it's pissing me off. I have to tell you, Brent, it's pissing me off. I'll give people a bit of a backstory. Is that I've been in my condo now since 2005,
Okay.
so about 20 years, and the building was 10 years old when I moved in, so it's 30 years old now.
Wow.
And we were lucky enough when we moved in 2005 with my first wife. It was the original owner, and we got a really good deal on it. Like that was when mortgage rates were good, and the prices of real estate were pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So we were able to scoop this place up, and I've been living here for 20 years, and it's been good. And there hasn't been any problems with mice or rats up until it was let's see, it was right at the end of 2019. There What happened was, here we have fireplaces. We have gas fireplaces here in this condo. And around 2019, I had some little field mice crawl in through the chimney of my fireplace, and
Now,
there was a few other owners here as well that had the same thing. And and once you get, and they were just cute little field mice for the most part, right? There's still a problem, and you want to get rid of them for sure, because rats and mice are like rabbits, right? They just reproduce like there's no tomorrow, right? And so, again, this was back at the end of 2019, and I was very proactive, and I dealt with the issue right away. We called a pest control guy, an exterminator guy, and they brought the poisons in, and problem solved. No problems at all for about until about 2022. And I'll tell you, this is where it all changes, Brent. This is
oh,
where it all changes, because for people that don't know, And this is an important point here, and I made notes. I made notes, so I'm just going to refer to my notes here. It was back in it was July 21st of 2021. Okay, so this was just before we started having issues with rats and mice again, in very early 2022. In July 2021, here in BC, the BC government introduced a temporary ban on something called second generation anticoagulant rodenticides. So I'll say that again: second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, or they're called SGARs.
Hey, that was good times.
Yeah, yeah. So these second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, what they do, and it sounds kind of gross, but what they do is they're very effective poisons, and basically what they do is they basically cause the rats and mice to bleed out internally and die and basically shrivel up and basically and they all that's left of them is basically their hides. And eventually their hides shrivel up and go away too. But yeah, extremely effective poisons. You only need one small dose, and they're gone. Like they're end of
Oh,
story. End of story. They're gone. Right. So very effective. And the other good thing about these SGARs, these second generation anticoagulant rodenticides, the nice thing about them too is they're transmissible. So what happens in that case is, a rat will eat a rat or a mice will eat the poison, and they'll go to their nest of other friends in the family, their other rat or mice friends, and they transmit the poison to them. And
ooh.
so all of the rat or mice in the nests will die. Extremely effective, these SGARs. Like, if you have a rat and a mice problem, you put a little bit of that out, and your rat and mice problem goes away immediately. And so, you know, very good tool to have in the toolbox for a rodent a pest control company, right? You want to have that hammer in your toolbox to deal with rats and mice, right?
Yeah, an infestation. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, when I originally had the field mice come down on my chimney in 2019, they had those SGARs at their disposal. So the mice were gone. They were end of story, no problem.
Yeah.
But what
What
ha
lots
but
coming
what
up to me, folks?
yeah, and then what happened is the BC government, in its infinite wisdom, decided let's ban these SGARs because they're too poisonous.
Oh.
And you can cut, like, I have to say, like, the reason what was happening was, everybody knows that owls are a primary predator on rats and mice, right?
Hmm.
And what was happening is like, remember I told you that these SGARs are very transmissible,
Hmm.
and the poison doesn't dissipate right away. So what was happening is that there were some owls that were eating the poisoned rats or mice, and
Oh.
then the owls were dying. And you can say, well, that's sad, you know, that's really bad. And you can say, yeah, it is, unfortunate, it is bad. But what's the alternative? I'll tell you what the alternative is
Hmm.
to ban them. And we literally have a situation now in my building of the beaches of Normandy, where we have like a horde of rats and mice outside of our building now.
Oh.
And because the BC government has taken these SGARs off the market, for even pest control companies, pest control companies aren't allowed to use these anymore.
Hmm.
So, so when our guy comes and he's been coming twice a month. So every 2 weeks he comes and fills up all the bait stations, and we got a lot around the whole building. We got tons. They're huge bait stations with full of poison.
Yeah.
And guess what? The mice eat the poison and they don't die. They eat the poison and they don't die.
Whoa. Holy.
Can you imagine having poison and the rats and mice don't die?
Oh my God.
You know how much poison they have to consume, Brent?
Tons.
They have to eat like 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 times. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
The pest control guy that we have, he's super great. He told me the whole rundown that basically these rats or mice have to gorge themselves. They have to come back to the traps 8 or 9 or 10 times before they even die. And
Wow.
and even then they might not die because you know what happens, of course, is that maybe by the time they eat the seventh or eighth time, the poison will leave their body, so
Hmm.
that they'll be dazed for a while. Like maybe they'll be zombified for a couple days,
Hmm.
and then it'll leave their system, and then they'll go back eating the poison again. No problem. You know,
Oh my
you know.
God.
So you got all these rats and mice that are eating poison, and they aren't dying. They aren't dying, Brent.
Wow. That's just totally messed up.
They aren't dying. So you got rats and mice eating poison, and they aren't dying. So guess what happens? You get more and more population of rats and mice in buildings, and
Major, major infestation.
and we're one building, Brent. We're one building amongst I don't know how many condos are there in the province? Maybe about 20,000 condo buildings or something like that. Like
Oh yeah.
I looked up some numbers. I'll give you some rough numbers again. I'm just guessing rough numbers here, about 20,000 apartments maybe, but in the province of BC, there's approximately 900,000 units. So that means 900,000 individual strata apartments, right?
Oh man.
Of like, either they're condos or they might be townhouses, but there's 900,000 of these apartments in BC. And we have to also say that that strata residents, like I'm part of a strata, and
Mhm.
what a strata is, it's basically a collective ownership of property in a building. So like, in my condo, there's 39 units and I own one, and there's 38 other owners, and
Hmm.
collectively we are part of a strata because it's a collectively owned building.
Mhm.
And the owners, if you're part of a strata, like I'm on strata council. I've been on strata council for the last 5 years, and my job right now, I've been a strata council president for the last 3 years,
Mhm.
and my job on strata council is to basically protect the health and safety and happiness of all the other owners here, or renters. There's 10 units that are rented out as well. So
Okay.
again, so we have 39 units, 10 are rented out, and the rest of them have the actual owners living in the building.
Okay.
And I think as well is that when you have a strata corporation, a strata property, you also have something called the building manager that comes in, and they help like we pay strata fees, something called strata fees every month,
Mhm.
and the building management company helps to manage, the big ticket items in the building. One of those being pest control, and but because
Oh.
I'm because I'm on council, I've been entrusted to basically handle that part of the file.
Mhm.
I'm the main contact for the pest control company, and we started to see a problem, an uptick of the rat and mice problem. Like I said, in in 2022. So we changed our pest control company because the other guys were idiots. They didn't tell us anything. Um, and so we changed the pest control company, and these guys are great. And we also upped the service to like I said, twice a month. So every 2 weeks, the guy comes, fills tons of bait stations, like and full of poison. Like I said, full of poison. And like I said, these rats and mice are not dying.
Hmm.
Now, luckily, they're staying for the most part. They're staying outside of the building. They haven't really infiltrated the building yet.
Ooh,
Not, I mean,
not yet.
the operative word is yet. They haven't
Yep.
entered the building yet. Although I have to say, we have heard them in the walls, Brent.
Oh,
And I have heard them in the walls now too. So
uh-oh.
so they're like I haven't actually witnessed them in my place, but you can hear them in the walls at night sometimes.
Oh boy.
So they have gained entry into the building. They're in the walls and they're eating poison and they're not dying, Brent. I have to say that again. They're not dying. And again, we'll go back to these SGAR ban, these anticoagulant ban on all these like harsh poisons.
Hmm.
Guess how many provinces are banning these SGARs, Brent,
How
in
many?
in BC? How many provinces are banning these SGARs?
That is a very good question. I'm guessing none.
There's one province that's banning them, and that's BC.
That's it.
BC is the only one in all of Canada, the only
Oh,
province or territory in all of Canada to
oh my
officially
gosh.
ban the SGARs. And there's nobody else in Canada that's doing it. And you know why, Brent? You know
Hmm.
why nobody else is doing it?
Yeah. Why?
Because they're not stupid. They're not stupid, Brent.
There's a
That's
mic drop.
why
This is where the mic drops, everyone.
I'm getting like I told you I was going to get pissed off. But the other premiers in our country in Canada, the other premiers are not stupid. They're not stupid. They're not brain dead, Brent.
Mhm.
Like David Eby, like um, you know, the temporary ban of these SGARs. Again, it was in July of 2021. Now that just so happens to be just around the time that John Horgan was diagnosed for the last time with cancer, right?
Right.
So, and again, this was a temporary ban originally.
Hmm.
So, I'm gonna cut John Horgan some slack because it was a temporary ban.
Right.
They were just gonna try it out and see and kind of let's see how it works.
An experiment. Yeah.
An experiment. So I'm going to cut John Horgan some slack because the last year of his life was probably a living hell. I mean anybody that's gone through or seen a family member go through cancer treatment, and I have.
Me
There's been a
too.
couple family members that have gone through cancer treatment, and it is hell. Like even as a person witnessing it secondhand, it's hell to watch.
Yeah.
So that John Horgan was going through hell that last year of his life, or
Mm.
actually he was around till 2024, but he stepped down. He stepped down in late 2022, right?
Yeah.
And then the cancer came back again. Anyway,
Yeah.
I digress a little bit. So I'm just saying that I'm prepared to give John Horgan a little bit of slack here, right? Because at first it was just a temporary ban, and it wasn't until it was very early, like it was early January, basically January 1st of 2023, that
Mhm.
temporary ban became permanent. The
Oh,
temporary ban became permanent.
okay.
So
Mm.
but
Wait.
it's basically since the temporary ban, all of these pest control companies in like all over BC, they're not able to use these SGARs.
Hmm.
So they're using truckloads of poison, and these rats and mice are not dying, Brent. I'll say it like a thousand times. They're
Hmm.
eating truckloads of poison and they're not dying.
Yeah, and they're getting in behind the walls, and they can cause a lot of damage to buildings too.
Well, here and I made some more notes, Brent, this is directly from the government of BC.ca, gov.bc.ca website.
Mhm.
This is direct from their own website. You know what it says? It says rats and mice can colon damage property but by chewing on materials like insulation, siding, and wallboard.
Mhm.
That's bullet point number one. They can start electrical fires by gnawing on wiring.
Oh
That's
yeah.
bullet point number two. They eat and contaminate stored food. And the number four is they transmit diseases. And that's the big one. They transmit diseases, Brent.
Ooh.
And
Oh,
and I mean,
that's scary.
why in God's name would the BC government here, the
Yeah,
only province in all of BC,
yeah.
decide that well we're just going to ban
Hmm.
these poisons because they're way too effective. They're actually going to end up killing the rats, and we don't want that. We don't want the mice and rats to actually die.
Oh
We
no,
we
no.
don't want them to actually die. We want them to thrive. And
Yeah.
and and you know what, Brent? Like I said, it was a temporary ban up until the beginning of 2023. But when we changed our pest control company was sort of right at the beginning of 2022 because
Mhm.
I was seeing rats or mice the size of a small cat walking across my patio outside.
Oh
I'm
my
not kidding, Brent. And
wow.
we're seeing rats and mice the size of raccoons and small cats,
Bigger, bigger than my coffee mug.
like three times the size of
Well,
that, Brent. Three
oh
times the
oh
size
my
of that.
gosh.
Like
Wow.
like we're talking raccoon size rats,
Whoa.
and they're just and so. But it was back in about 2022. I was seeing basically rats that were sunbathing in the summer outside on my patio.
Uh-oh.
And I can't get out on the patio anyway because it's kind of got a ledge where you have to kind of step down, so it's very
Oh,
inaccessible for me anyway. But
yeah.
I mean, even if I could go out there, I wouldn't now.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be caught dead out there
Well, yeah, it'd
because
be scary.
be, yeah, because let's go back to the transmitting diseases part. One of the big diseases that rats and mice carry,
Hmm.
it's something called, and I made another note here, Brent, a very severe illness. It's called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, or HPS, hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, or HPS for short. And basically, it's a respiratory illness. It's
Yeah,
it's
okay.
it's very similar to almost coronavirus, except you know what? It's it's uh its effective kill rate. Guess what its effective kill rate is, Brent?
How much?
Around 35%. So if you
Oh,
come down with
big.
HPS, you have a guaranteed rate of death at about 35%.
Oh, and that
So
number could climb actually.
yeah, and I'll tell you how you get HPS
Hmm.
is you get it from the saliva
Hmm.
of rats and mice. And I don't know if you see saliva, Brent? Is
Nope.
saliva
Nope.
readily noticeable, do you think?
Nope. Nope.
Like if I were to see saliva from a rat or a mouse on the kitchen counter, would
Hmm.
I know that that is rat or mice saliva?
Nope. No, you
No.
wouldn't.
Or if I saw some rat or mice saliva on my cereal box, would
Right.
would
Ooh.
would I know that there's a rat saliva on my cereal?
Right. I mean, cross contamination. I mean, that is detrimental for anyone who's immune compromised too. Oh man,
Well,
that's
so it's rat droppings. It's rat
yeah,
droppings, right? It's urine.
yeah,
It's rat droppings, urine, and saliva from rats or mice. That is what transmits this HPS. And I don't know if people remember the um, the death of Gene Hackman, right, and his wife.
right.
People were surprised, like what happened there? Like people,
Hmm.
somebody just showed up and his wife and him were just dead, and their dogs were dead. I think there's one surviving dog and then two other ones dead or something, and 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 the authorities showed up and they're like, what happened here? And they live in Mexico. They were retired and living in Mexico, we have to say, and I just want to be clear that actually apparently Gene Hackman himself didn't die from rat poison or rat transmitted diseases. His wife did, though.
Hmm.
Apparently, what happened was his wife died of it first, and I don't know if people are aware, but Gene Hackman suffered from really bad Alzheimer's. So
Hmm.
they suspect that his wife passed away, and Gene Hackman was not even aware that it happened. And then maybe he saw her at some point, and I don't know. He could have gone into shock and died at that point. They think it was his death was a cause of either a heart problem or a heart problem in conjunction with his Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
But they're pretty sure that he was not poisoned by the rats, or not, I shouldn't say poisoned. He wasn't infected with this HPS.
Okay.
But his wife Betsy was his wife Betsy. She got this HPS, and again, it's from rat saliva, Brent. How
Yeah.
like can you identify what rat saliva looks like?
No.
So it's from rat saliva. So she might have eaten a bowl of Cheerios. She might have eaten a bowl of Cheerios. Let's say hypothetically, eaten a bowl of Cheerios that had a bit of rat saliva on it. And what happens? You get the, like I said, you get the shortness of breath,
Hmm.
very similar to coronavirus, except way worse, way worse. And what happened was she basically her body basically mummified
Uh,
because the it attacks all of your internal organs, and your body basically mummifies, and
oh,
you just
oh,
die.
oh,
Like very effectively. You just die very effectively because guess what, Brent?
hmm.
Rats and mice are loaded with poison. They're
Right.
loaded with disease and poison. So if you have a rat or mice problem, you're going to die. You're
Yeah, they
going to die.
transmit the all the poisons right to the humans.
And guess what, Brent? Our BC government here does not care about 1.5 million people living in stratas, living in condos.
Hmm.
They say, well, screw you. I don't care. I don't care. Um, David Eby's living very happily in his mansion somewhere. And you know what? Guess what? He's probably able to go to Costco in Bellingham across in United States and buy poison himself across the border in the States. He can buy his own poison and kill his own rats in his own house.
Hmm.
But we can't do it here.
Oh,
Stratas can't do it here in condos.
yeah.
Can, can you imagine, Brent? Like, so this is a situation is you have professional pest control companies now that know what they're doing. They're
Hmm.
licensed professionals. These are licensed. We're not talking about fly by night people that just want to buy a whole bunch of poison and just spread a bunch of poison everywhere and
Hmm.
just kill everything in sight. We're talking about licensed professionals that know what they're doing.
Yeah, the specialists that
They,
know.
they,
Yeah,
they
they're trained.
specialize. They know what they're doing, and you're saying to these licensed professionals that know what they're doing. You're saying, you know what, we're no longer going to give you the hammer to kill rats and mice. You no longer have a hammer to hammer the nails in your toolbox. You don't get a hammer to hammer your nails anymore. We'll give you a screwdriver to hammer your nails.
Yeah,
Or
we're going to
better,
take away the tools. We're going to take the tools away for
we're
you.
we're
That
gonna
effective
take we're
tools.
gonna take all the tools away,
Yeah.
and so instead of the hammer, you to hammer your nails in, we're gonna give you a screwdriver, or better yet, use your bare fist. Use your bare fist to hammer in your nail, and maybe kill the rats and mice that way.
Hmm.
And like I said, I'll say it like 1,000 times. The rats and mice are not dying, and it's scary as shit, Brent. I
Yeah.
have to tell you, it's scary as shit. They're in the walls. It's like the beach of Normandy. Normandy. They're coming into the building.
Yeah.
When it was bad, like I said, it's not bad right now. Like when it was bad in 2022, there were sunbathing on the deck. There's owners that can see them sunbathing on the deck right now. We can witness them on the cameras down in our parkade. They come in and out of the parkade in the gates, like by a whole stream of them.
Oh,
We were witnessing them down there.
oh my gosh.
So they're all around the building, and I have to say again, they're eating a ton. They're eating a ton of poison, Brent. They're eating a ton of poison,
Oh.
and every 2 weeks we get loaded up with more poison, and they're eating a ton of this shit, and they're not dying. They're not dying.
Hmm. So what do you think, like from the area that there's a field right near your place, um, so there wasn't a problem before the government banned the pesticide that actually worked to keep them away. So now they take away the toxicity of keeping them away to replace it with non-toxicity. Are there other buildings in your area that are directly affected, like across from where you are?
Yeah, I've got buildings all around me. I've got buildings all
Okay,
around me, and actually, I should say too, part of the problem is in the last few years, there's been a couple of new buildings been put in, and what happens when they put new buildings in? They clear out all the property. So there used to be bush. There used to be bush outside where my condo is, and
okay.
they cleared all that bush. That was where all the rats were.
Hmm.
So of course all the rats got displaced, and where did the rats go that are get displaced? They go to the neighboring buildings.
Yep, I was just
And
gonna say that if you disrupt their habitat, they're gonna go to the
yeah,
next available building that
so
they can get
yeah,
into.
so there was a huge field. There was basically
Oh,
a huge open field
yeah.
where some rats were, and they cleared all that out to put in a couple of new condos.
Mm.
And as soon as they cleared out that area, of course, the rats moved to the neighboring condos. And I know for a fact, some neighboring condos around my area are not doing any pest control whatsoever.
Oh,
Some are doing nothing. Some are
uh-oh.
doing nothing, and some maybe are doing one servicing a month, maybe. But we're doing two servicings a month, and it's not doing anything.
So they got some of those neighboring condos around there. They got pets already embedded in their buildings, I'm sure.
Yeah,
They just haven't made their way inside the units. And where I am in Victoria, knock on wood, so far we don't have any in our building yet. There's been raccoons, a lot more raccoons lately. I've noticed. I went
yeah.
to go and throw garbage out the other day, and I saw something like a huge object. It was dark out and on top of a garbage bin, and I thought it was a cat at first.
Mhm.
I thought, oh, what was it? All of a sudden, here's a big thud on top of the lid. Oh, and the other part of the garbage lid was actually wide open because we had people going through our garbage and recycle on a daily basis, 4 or 5 people a day, and they go through and get bottles and cans and anything that's
Yeah.
recyclable out. And I heard a noise. I didn't really pay attention. I threw garbage. I was just about to throw it, and I saw this huge raccoon, a whole family of them. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And these things,
There's been some here too.
yeah, they're huge.
Raccoons and squirrels. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're growing bigger and bigger. And the first
Yeah.
thing I came to my mind, Neil, was imagine if that was a rat, and
Yeah.
describing that they're as big as a cat.
Well, I don't have to imagine because I see them
Yeah,
up
you've seen them.
here.
Yeah,
I've seen them,
and for me,
and
I
it's scary, Brent. It's scary. And
yeah.
like as a person, like I said, I've been on Strata Council for 5 years now. I feel helpless because, like I said, we're doing servicing twice a month. That should be plenty. Like
Mhm,
even once a month, if you actually had the right tools to actually kill them, if you
mhm.
actually had the right poisons to kill them, it, we shouldn't have a problem. We shouldn't have a problem of rats
Yeah.
because you
Well,
know what, you put down poison that works and you kill them. End of story. But
well,
here in
well, this
BC,
yeah, this raccoon that I saw was basically would have been the same size of a rat that rats that you're seeing that are the size of a cat, and
yeah,
this raccoon would have been the
yeah,
same size. So imagine everyone listening on the podcast version, a a raccoon. If you've never seen a rat, just think of a raccoon, and I'm sure you've seen a raccoons. A whole family of them. Imagine those are rats, how big they can get,
yeah.
and they're embedded in your walls. I mean,
It's it's
it's scary.
scary, Brent. It's
It's
scary.
very scary. Oh,
Um, getting back to the fact that BC is the only
only
province in all of Canada that has banned these SGRs because they're stupid,
yeah.
because because David Eby is stupid. I don't like being disrespectful, but I'm gonna say it. David Eby is stupid, and everybody in government that is allowing this SGAR ban is stupid. Guess let's talk about the states for a moment, Brent. Guess how many states in the United States have banned SGARs? Guess how many states have banned SGARs?
Mm, that is a very good question. I'm guessing again zero.
There's one. Maybe you
Oh,
can guess the one that has banned them. There's only one state in all of the United States that has banned them.
Washington D.C.
No, that's a good guess, but it's California.
Oh,
Everybody else has banned them, and you know why they've banned them, Brent?
hmm.
You know why they've banned them? Because they're not stupid. They
Uh,
haven't banned them because they're not stupid. But apparently, here in BC, we're stupid. We're allowing wild rats to thrive and exist and have a great life and eat tons of poison and not die. And
wow.
and so again, I feel like I'm belaboring the point, but we have basically the Beach of Normandy situation where you have all these rats now that are encroaching in on our building. We've had to we've actually had to pour concrete, fill a whole bunch of holes around our around the foundation of the building. At the recommendation of our pest control guy, he said
Hmm.
to start pouring concrete and fill all these holes in, and we've done all that. But they're making burrows and they're finding ways to get inside.
Well, yeah. If they want to find their way in, they will find their way in. It's the government's in BC. The government in BC seems to want to thrive on allowing these rats to thrive and live well and be well and cause chaos inside buildings and cause damage to the infrastructure buildings. And yes,
The
it will, everyone. It will cause infrastructure damage. And
the only thing I can think of is the government wants people to die. They're waiting for
it
a
almost seems that way. Yeah.
I mean, it's so stupid, Brent. It's so stupid. It's like the government is just waiting for a huge pandemic of
Hmm.
all these rats that they're just gonna, like a Beach of Normandy situation where the rats are just gonna take over like a shitload of condo buildings, and all the residents inside the condo buildings are gonna die, and they're gonna go think, well, what happened? And it's gonna be because some saliva got on some a bowl of cornflakes.
Wow.
Some rat saliva got on some boiled cornflakes, and people died from that.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry, like I'm getting mad. I'm getting pissed off because
Just
our government
like
is stupid. Our government is stupid. And I'm a parent. I have a son, and when you become a parent, like it's kind of it becomes part of your DNA where you can't help but say, well, I wonder what it would be like to parent that child, or I wonder what it would be like to parent that child, or you even say, I wonder what it would be like to parent that adult. And
Mhm.
one of the people I think about all the time is like I wonder what it'd be like to parent David Eby.
Mm.
I honestly think that. I wonder what it would be like to parent David Eby. And one of the suggestions I would have for David Eby would be, please stop being stupid. Because if you're being stupid, like I know he's a smart man. I know he's a smart man. He's a lawyer, for crying out loud. And you don't become a lawyer by being stupid by being stupid. You have to be smart. So I
Mhm.
know he's smart. But if you're smart, act smart. Don't act stupid. Don't act stupid and kill 1.5 million citizens in this province from rat saliva. Don't do it.
Mhm.
And you know what? We've only got another, I don't know, 10 minutes or something in the podcast. But let's transition from rats for a moment to another responsibility of David Eby's is our homeless encampments too.
Mhm.
All of that falls on the shoulders of strata corporations too. Like I'm on strata council. We've had tons of homeless encampment issues where we've had homeless people that are breaking into the underground. They start fires. They've been starting fires in the underground, and
Oh no.
luckily we haven't had that for a while now. We haven't had that for a while now, but there was we had to call the fire department. Surrey Fire Department had to come 3 times because of
Oh no.
fires were set in our downtown our downstairs
You're
parkade,
underground. Yeah.
and
Okay.
because they were doing drugs down there,
Oh jeez.
and they were stoned out of their minds doing drugs and setting fires in there.
Oh.
And you know what you and I like trust me, Brent, I feel sorry for most of the people that are homeless. I do. Like are people that are
Yeah.
addicted to, like I don't pretend to know the stories of that.
Yeah. I mean, because I mean, every individual has its own, they have their own story of
Yeah.
how they became homeless and how they became drug addicted, painkillers, you name it, whatever it
Yeah,
is. And
I, I
I don't know the whole stories, but it's sad where when the officials know who are who the individuals are that need to get that help, whatever help that may need,
yeah,
but not keeping them housed and getting them proper permanent, not shelters, but
yeah,
permanent housing. That's where I have a problem
yeah,
with governments from all levels. It's that like they keep pointing fingers each other, knowing what the underlying problem is, and nobody wants to basically step up to the plate and work together. They keep pointing fingers. It's like the downtown east side. I mean, we'll dive into that since we got a little bit of time here. I think you know where I'm probably
well,
going with
yeah,
that.
but just before you go there, Brent,
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
wanted to finish my thought
yeah.
on the breaking in
Underground, yeah,
down to the underground there.
yeah.
Is you had them shooting up and doing drugs down there, so they're discarding all these needles, and
Oh,
and they're defecating down there. There's human feces down there. They
oh,
were like
oh,
I said, we fixed the problem now. But
yeah.
guess how we had to fix it, Brent? We
Oh,
we we had to install a bunch of lighting down there. So we spent about $500 worth of lights, like high
mm-hmm.
powered lights. We started with that. That didn't deter them. Like there were very high powered lights. We thought
Yep.
high powered lights are going to deter them. They're gonna not want to stay down there. That
Mm-hmm.
didn't work. They still went down there. So then
Mm-hmm.
we spent, I think it was $2,500, a big huge iron gate, like an
Oh,
extra iron gate to
heavy duty.
keep them out of the visitor, because the visitor parking downstairs is all kind of open, of course, for visitors. Of
Yeah,
course, makes sense.
yeah.
But we had to cordon all that off. There's a
Oh.
part of it that we had to cordon off with an iron gate, like
Mm-hmm.
a heavy duty, like $2,500 gate. So
Mm-hmm.
that's extra expense again for owners, right? And anyway, so you had all this trash and garbage and shit, human shit and needles,
Oh,
and
terrible.
like a mountain. We're talking a mountain of shit and garbage and needles, a mountain worth from these homeless people,
Right.
and so we then we thought, well, we'll phone a garbage disposal company to come and dispose of them. We phoned two places,
Mhm.
and they came to look at the needles and the shit and their garbage, and they said, we're not touching that. We are not touching that because you know what? They said that is dangerous for us.
Well, yeah, of course, of course.
That's too dangerous for us. We're not going to dispose of that because
The live.
there's
Yeah.
needles and human feces and garbage. We're not touching that. So
Hmm.
guess who had to dispose of it, Brent?
Cool.
There was two owners in our condo that volunteered
Oh,
by force almost. They volunteered by force. There's a woman that a great woman. She's the current president on our Shadow Council. She's an RN, so
okay.
she's a registered nurse, and so she volunteered to
Oh,
to go on her hands and knees
oh,
with gloves and dispose of a shitload of I don't know how many needles,
I can just imagine.
and dispose of literal human shit and garbage, and and then we were able to I mean, at the end of the day, it's cost us like, I don't know, maybe like four grand or maybe 4 or 5 grand, like just to fortify, like an extra 5 grand to fortify our downstairs parkade.
Yeah.
So an extra 5 grand just so that homeless people can't infiltrate downstairs. And the other thing is too is again, I do feel sorry for most of the people that are homeless, but what was
Hmm.
pissing me off was we we had people go down there and talk to we confronted the people that were breaking in,
Hmm.
and we said, you kind of say, well, please don't do this because you're causing fires and you're going to burn down our condo.
Hmm.
Please don't burn down our condo and threaten the lives of 39 innocent souls in our building, or actually more than that,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because we're talking husbands and wives and children here
Oh,
too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like 100 or more souls in this building. So we're like, please don't threaten the safety and well-being and livelihood of all these people that live here.
Hmm.
And they laughed at us, Brent. They laughed at us. They said, we don't care. We're gonna come again, and we're gonna light more fires
Oh.
and shit more and leave more garbage. They were laughing because because they're all strung out and like they're like happy strung out on drugs, and they're like, yes, we're gonna like destroy your property. We're gonna break into all the cars and steal all the stuff and destroy your property because it's fun. It's fun for us.
Hmm.
We love it. And again, so I've transitioned from rats to homeless, but
Hmm.
all of this stuff, it's extra expense. It's extra expense for strata corporations.
Yeah,
We're
no one of the building.
we're spending thousands of dollars extra every year, every month,
Mhm.
because we're trying to fix David Eby's fuck ups. Let's
Mhm.
just say it. David Eby's fuck ups with his awesome drug policy.
Mhm.
His fucked up drug policy of like, who cares? Let's get all the strata companies or owners to deal with my fuck up. I don't have to deal with it. It's not my problem. I created the problem, but I'm not going to be on my hands and knees with gloves on and disposing of needles. That's the job of Neil's tenant that's an RN. She's an RN. She can do it. I don't have to go into his building and dispose of the needles. I don't have to go in the building and dispose of human shit. That's not my issue. I created the issue. David Eby, created the issue, but I'm not gonna deal with it. Fuck it.
Mhm.
I don't care about the citizens of BC. Fuck it. They can all die of rat infested diseases. Fuck
Mhm.
everybody in BC. They can all die of of rat diseases. We can all die and be covered in rat dung,
Wow.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm losing it, but I'm pissed
Yeah.
off. I'm pissed
Well,
off,
yeah.
Brent.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be that way. It's like a government has, I don't know, blank minds of things that are logic to do things the logic ways, and they're doing it completely backwards.
Yeah.
And when it comes to policies of implementation, things that make sense, it's like, oh, let's do things backwards because, hey, in their minds, it's like a pink unicorn that's behind me. Let's do things backwards. That's because it's all make believe in their minds. They think it's okay. In reality, it affects people's lives, their well beings. I mean, people who are owners in condominiums. I mean, how many condo owners in stratas are actually reporting this? Probably not that many at all. I
Yeah,
mean,
like I said,
happens
I'm
everywhere.
one condo, and probably
Yeah.
there's probably 20,000 condos in the
Oh, at
province, Brent.
least, and they probably filed reports to the government, and then of course FOIs. Oh, you have to pay to play. I mean, again, that's another stupid thing that I don't know why the government even put those FOIs in,
Yeah,
because I mean, reporters who want to do stories on stuff, they have to spend a lot of money to do one simple report, and then they have to get that report and hope that it's not redacted out, a whole bunch of redacted
yeah,
information. So let's
yeah.
transition. First of all, I want to say I'm so sorry, Neil.
And
What you,
I'm sorry for losing it, Brent. But
yeah, oh,
it's been 2 years. I've wanted to talk about this for
yeah,
2 years. It's been over two
it's
years now.
understandable. I mean,
Of like having these
no,
rats that are like almost getting into the building, and
yeah,
you're thinking, holy shit, everybody in this building is gonna die. We're all gonna die because we're gonna get rat saliva in our Cheerios, and we're all gonna die.
yeah.
And David Eby's gonna go, oh well, gee, that's too bad.
That's another
That's
chapter.
that's too bad, but at least I can go into my Costco in Bellingham and get poison and protect my home and protect my family. It's too bad that we don't give the proper tools and poisons to licensed professional pest control companies here.
Yeah, I don't understand why the government would, in the only province in Canada, but why BC would be the only province that would get rid of a poison that is going to help get rid of the problem rather than, oh, but let's create more of a problem. Like it's a complete backward thinking. Like it doesn't make sense.
Let's not have poison that actually works. And
Yeah,
and let's remind people too. So there's BC's the only province in all of Canada,
yeah,
and there's 49 other states
yeah.
in the United States that have said, you know, if you ban SGRs, that's probably a really stupid thing. 49 other states in the United States have agreed that a ban on SGARs is probably really, really stupid.
Hmm.
And so they've agreed that it's stupid, but for some reason, David Eby, who's supposed to be a very smart man, because he's a lawyer, he's supposed to be a very smart man, but you're going to threaten the livelihood and safety of 1.5 million people that live in condo buildings or live in townhouses. You're going to just say fuck it. I don't care if people die with rat saliva in their cornflakes or Cheerios in the morning. I don't care. It's not my problem. I don't care. Oh, I care because I live here,
Yeah, it's your
and
home.
I've had to spend the $5,000 to repel the homeless issues here too. Like I said, the threats of burning down our building from fires being set by homeless people down in our garage. We've had to spend the $5,000, and David Eby can say, "Oh well, who cares? Not my issue. Who cares? I didn't cause it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, David Eby. You caused it.
Hmm.
You
And and the government then wonders why people have condominiums that are sitting empty right now. I bet there's probably more to the story why they're sitting empty right now. They're probably infested with rats,
who knows?
and they say I can't live there. I can't live there, and so they walk away.
Like I said, maybe
Oh,
about 20,000 condos
at least or more.
or townhouses,
Oh,
I can guarantee you, but I can guarantee you, every single one of the other condos other than mine are having the exact same issues,
exactly.
maybe worse than mine,
Hmm. And they just haven't reported it. Yeah.
and my situation is freaking scary. Like I'm scared
Oh, yeah.
shitless. I'm scared
I would.
shitless that we are like maybe 3 to 6 months away from a whole bunch of rats breaching into the building and killing every single one of us. I'm not even joking, Brent. I'm
No,
not
I know.
even joking. I'm not even joking. I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking, but I'm not joking. It's scaring the shit out of me
Yeah.
that rats are gonna get into the building and start killing, and gonna start killing people here. You
Hmm.
know, the other thing I'll say before we go over, I
Yeah.
will say that the BC government here has allowed, uh, hospitals. If you're a hospital, you're allowed to use poisons. You're allowed to use the SGAR poisons in hospitals. So isn't it nice to know that if you become sick,
Hmm.
or if you're on the verge of death in a hospital,
Hmm.
that you can be safe from contracting a disease from a rat or a mouse. So
Hmm.
if you're in a hospital, you can be safe in that environment. And if you and apparently also too, like if you work in agriculture, and of course if you work like the grocery stores here are allowed to use SGARs for to protect the produce,
Hmm.
in the grocery store. They're allowed to use that. But
Oh,
but God forbid that anybody wants to live in a condo.
yeah.
God forbid that anybody wants to live in a condo and feel safe in their condo.
Yeah. Let the rats run amok. Yeah.
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 I mean, it's just mind blowing to me. It's like the government wants us all to die. It's like the government wants us all to die. It's like seriously, it's pissing
It
me off,
sure.
Brent, because I care. Like I don't get paid. Like none of us on Charter Council get paid for anything. We're doing it because we love the building.
Well, yeah.
I care about, like, of course I spent like, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on my like tens of thousands, hundred, dollars on my condo. So of course I care about it. I
Of
want
course.
to protect it, and I want to protect the investment of all of the owners that live here, because
But the
because
protect.
because I give a shit. I want to do my very best to protect everybody that lives here, including myself, including my own family. I want to protect everybody,
Mhm.
and it's like the government saying, "Who gives a shit?"
Yeah, it sure seems that way. That the
Like, I,
Yeah, I mean, you want to protect your own quarters of where you live, and you want to protect the building in representing everyone else in the building because you care about your building. But the government does not care, doesn't seem to want to care about protecting its citizens, its own residents in their own province. All they care about is their stupid Bill 15, so they can ram through if
yeah.
anyone contradicts the
Well,
government.
let's talk about that now,
Yeah,
Brent.
yeah,
Well, we got a little bit of time, yeah.
yeah, we're going to dive into Bill 15, everyone, and we'll just refresh everyone so they know what Bill 15 is in BC. And then we're going to transition over to the downtown east side in Vancouver regarding just to kind of, this is just kind of a little headline for people to understand where we're going to go, the transition. So we're going to talk about Bill 15 a little bit, and then we're going to transition over to the downtown east side in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, where the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction had hired somebody to tell them, well, there's a problem. But we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So let's talk about Bill 15 first, Neil. So what
Well,
is Bill 15?
let's back up and say that Bill 15 started out as Bill 7,
Yep,
and then it became Bill 13, 14, and 15, I think it is, right?
yep,
I
yep.
think, or is it 14, 15, 16, or something like that?
There was a whole bunch of them. Yeah,
So it started out as Bill 7,
yeah.
and then
It blossomed.
everybody in the legislature said, David Eby, you can't do that. You can't do that because it's a power grab. So what did David Eby do? He broke up the Bill 7, and he broke it up into smaller bills,
Oh,
into 14, 15, and 16, or 13, 14, 15. I don't know what the
yeah.
numbers are, but he broke them up into three smaller bills in the efforts to, because he wants to pass it so bad, because he's power hungry so bad
Even the business council and a lot of the top CEOs of big corporations were all telling him, "No, don't do this,
yeah,
David. Do not do this." I mean,
yeah.
sure, the oppositions of the BC Conservatives and the Green Party also said, "Don't do this." But guess what? here we
Yeah,
are at this point where Bill 15, they want to ram it through. They want to
yeah,
ram it. They want to ram that thing through.
yeah. And let's put a exclamation point on this too. David Eby is the only premier in all of Canada that is pulling shit like this. He's the only one, the only premier in all of Canada that's pulling shit like this. He's the only
Wow.
one that wants this swelled head like power grab, I'm the king of the world shit. He is the only one doing it.
Mhm.
Let's emphasize that.
I
So
remember. I
so
remember back.
what does that say? What does that say, Brent? What does that
Well,
say
yeah.
if you're the only premier in all of Canada that's pulling off shit like that? What does that say about you as a premier?
Well, I'm hearing, discussions from back in Ontario, and they're asking like, what the hell is going on in BC? One of my
Yeah.
neighbors, had their family member over, and they're actually from Saskatchewan, Regina, Saskatchewan, visiting, and said, "What the hell is going on in BC? I'm hearing all these downtown east side like issues going on there." And the lady said, I grew up in Burnaby, and I know about downtown East Side, I'm scared about going down there. I'm scared about going into any downtown area now because I'm scared about being jumped and chased down hallways or in buildings of because she used to be an RN and she
Yeah.
left. She left to BC to go to Regina, Saskatchewan because she was scared for her life. Imagine
Yeah.
that, scared for her life, and she retired. She retired out of BC, and she likes coming back here because it's just something that she grew up here, and it reminded her of her surroundings. But she said she can't live in BC. She doesn't can't afford to live in BC. She doesn't like the government's policies. She said, "What happened to the BC NDP? What
Yeah.
happened?" I good question. It's not the BC NDP that I remember.
I just talked about about the fact that all this expense is being passed on to strata councils, like the one that I'm on, are the owners of the condo here. It's
Mhm.
all these expenses about the homeless situations, all and the rat problems are all being passed on to us, the owners.
Yeah,
And we have
not
to
like
say
people think
too,
it's
we
going
have to
up.
say too that the same thing is happening to companies like big ticket companies like London Drugs,
Mhm.
and you have coffee shops,
Oh
and
yeah.
you have like a lot of really big anchor stores, big economic chains that are
Hmm.
closing up shop
Hmm.
because it's too expensive to do business here anymore
Yep.
because the stores are having to invest a shitload on security cameras, a shitload
Wow.
on security guards, a shitload on whatever else, you know. And again, this is all problems that have been created by David Eby that thought it'd be great, be wonderful to legalize drug possession. You know,
What could go wrong?
what can go wrong? Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just so.
they were told by the BC government was told by Oregon, by Portland, Oregon, in the United States on the West Coast, and they were told that it wasn't the program that they had put in wasn't working. It was not working, and they said, do not go down this pathway. Change course."
Yeah,
Yep. I remember years ago going down to Portland, Oregon, and I saw firsthand. Sonia saw we were walking along waiting for a train to catch in downtown, and there was people camped out in tents right near the train station. They were keeping to themselves. We walked right by them, and we were told by some security people at the train station that yeah, probably not a good idea going down that way. We walked down that way. I said, I'm going to walk down that way. But they were watching us from a distance, making sure that we were fine. I could tell that they were watching and we were fine. But looking at people in these living in these tents, Neil, it was so sad. Like,
yeah,
like bicycles parked there and you could see they had thermoses they'll carry little not freezers. They're, thermal, like thermal kind of
yeah.
case there, hot and cold, like keeping all their stuff there. I mean, they just wanted. All I heard was, "We just want a safe place we can call home." That's
Hmm.
what I said. How are you doing? Like I actually said, how are you doing? Probably people thought, oh my gosh, Brent, that's scary. Like, why would you want to talk to someone? I just said, how are you doing?
Hmm.
Fine. We're, we'll get by, but we just want a safe place we can call home.
Hmm.
And again, I don't know what their situation is, how they became homeless.
Yeah.
Um, some people will lose their homes of no fault of their own. There's so many circumstances, but having the support services in place for people that are homeless, give them permanent housing. Yes, I understand that there are individuals that may need that extra care, whatever it may be. I'm not an expert when it comes to homelessness. We were homeless for a period of time, not a long time, and not having a fixed address in my life, I never thought in my life that I would
That
ever not
that
have an address. Imagine not having
that
your keys. Like
that reminds me of a song, Brent. Sorry.
yeah,
We're not here for a we're here for a good time.
gone a
Not
long
a long time. So have a good time. The sun don't shine
time.
every day. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
here
that's
for a good time. Anyway,
yeah, that's Trooper. Yes,
Trooper, yeah.
one of my favorite songs. And every time I think of that song, I think things can be worse in a person's situation. But
Yeah.
until they actually get into that worse situation, they look back and they say, "What happened? What happened? What did I do wrong?" I mean, we moved into a place that was infested with bed bugs,
Mm.
and we lost everything. I mean, we were able,
Bed bugs are nasty too.
yeah,
I've never had them. I've never had them,
no, no,
but I've heard lots of horror stories.
and
I had a friend that had big problems with bed bugs.
yeah, I mean, and we could only take what we could take to get to put it into high industrial washer machines and dryers and to flush it out. I mean, once these things get embedded into any of your belongings, if you
Mhm.
take them where you are, some people might think, oh, there's a bug. No, they can cause damage. They cause damage,
Well,
and
it's just like rats and mice.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, David Eby can sit there and go, "Well, I don't live there. Who cares?" Think of how long like the SROs in downtown East Side, like how many years have there probably been rats and mice living in there?
Hmm.
And all the politicians are probably thinking, well, who cares? Like I don't have to live there. I
Yeah,
don't
they'll
have to
say
live there. So
that's not my life. I mean,
it's not my problem,
yeah,
you
I
know?
get shelter. I get shelter. And paid for by taxpayers. I mean, I get $2,500 a month in
Yeah.
shelter. I mean, and great. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, if they're in legislation, I get it. Like the reason why they need to have accommodation. However, they need to be treating their
Yeah.
citizens with the same respect and dignity, and giving people the proper financial means so that they can have permanent shelter, and getting back to part of the what I was saying is people that are homeless is I get them the help that they need as an individual basis, treat them with dignity and respect, get them the proper care. I mean, open up care facilities. I don't know. I mean, some people say, well, throw them into that facility that was there way back in the 80s, I
Yeah,
think,
80s,
Riverview
yeah.
in BC. I don't
Riverview, yeah.
know. Like, I mean, I'm tossed on that. Is I think just get them the medical care that they need, and work with them,
Yeah.
and put them through some kind of like the treatment that they need.
Hmm.
There's prolific offenders. Now that's where I have a problem with the justice system. That's federal, and they need to work with provincial and fix that one bill that's actually in the federal. And they should have done the federal government should have done that right the first time when the last administration was in. They chose not to fix that properly. They just tweaked around the corner and did this and that. They should have fixed the problem up, because now you get individuals running amok. It's like a revolving door. Back out
Yeah.
they go, and they cause chaos. And I mean, no fault of their own in some cases. Like, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know where they're going, but get them the help that they need, because I mean, everyone. I mean, they're all human. They have,
Well,
you know.
yeah, and you shared with me. I think we both shared similar videos. Like I think I showed you one, and then you showed me one. There was a couple of videos with Sam Sullivan, and he's an ex MLA here in BC.
Mhm.
Sam Sullivan is a guy in a
Great guy,
wheelchair.
great guy.
Great guy. Like I used to work for him. I used to work for his foundation. Really great guy. I've met with him. I've talked with him. He's the one that kind of helped reverse some of my PWD clawback situation. But really great guy. Anyway, he's done a couple videos all
Mhm.
about how the downtown east side was created. So
Yeah,
maybe you want to transition to talking about the
yeah.
downtown east side, but because basically Sam Sullivan is basically saying that the downtown east side is basically a creation of government. The
Mhm.
provincial government is the one that created it,
Mhm.
created
Yeah.
created the downtown east side. It never used to exist,
So
and provincial
Sam
government
Sullivan, yeah, no, go
designed it, created it that way.
Sam Sullivan was the MLA for the BC Liberal Party back when it was a BC Liberal Party. Then it became the BC United Party, and now the party folded the tent. Still have the leader in place for the BC United Party for now. Who knows where Kevin Falcon is? Um,
He's
however,
AWOL.
yeah, he's AWOL right now, but I think they are going to come out of the closets in the near future. I think things are going to change going forward on that one. It'll be interesting. Then there's a new party out there, but getting to the downtown east side, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Um, Sam Sullivan. Neil will attach a little video clip of that to today's segment.
Yeah,
Of
I can actually.
yeah,
I'll link the video. Yeah.
yeah, and then you can watch this that segment. Says Sam describes why that was created in the downtown east side of a community. As a community, the way that the government thought way back when, I mean, go back in the time machine, was that giving people a sense of the community spirit, of their well-being, of their surroundings, of making people come together in a small little area, and that they could take care of each other. And it was a pilot project that was put in place. Yeah, and rather than getting them the help that they needed, they just plunked them down there.
Yeah.
And guess what? It blossomed from that point on.
So basically the government's idea was like everybody that has problems with homelessness, any problems with drugs or alcohol, we'll let you all congregate together so you
Mhm,
can all share the same problems,
mhm,
and somehow you're all going to help each other out
mhm,
while you're suffering with all these problems of alcoholism or drugs or escaping violence or abuse or whatever
mhm.
the case is.
Yeah.
You're all gonna like basically help each other, like as flawed human beings with really difficult lives.
Mhm.
Somehow you'll all figure it out together. That's not how it works because Sam
That,
Sullivan, and again, we'll attach the video after this podcast is done. But Sam Sullivan said the old way of doing things, and this is the proper way of doing things. The old way of doing things is there used to be rooming houses back in the 70s and 80s
yes.
where they would have one kind of bad apple, let's say, or say like a problem, like somebody that was an alcoholic or somebody that was addicted to drugs.
Mhm,
They would kind of spread them around to like so you'd have say like Johnny who's addicted to who's addicted to drugs or on alcohol. You have him in one of the rooming houses and everybody else is fine. They don't have any drug problems or anything.
yeah.
So it's the other, let's say another like 50 people that live there. They are the support network. So there's 50 people that are clean
Yeah.
that don't have any issues with drugs or alcohol. They're clean and they help Johnny, the one that's got the drug problem. They help keep Johnny clean,
Mhm,
and they had what did they call them? Like kind of madams of the rooming houses, kind of like real kind of masters that would like basically you'd be in shit if there was anybody that was not kind of towing the line and if there was one bad apple that was kind of upsetting everybody else, like
mhm.
you would hear about it.
Yeah,
So
kind of
so
person. Yeah.
everybody kept everybody in. That was the old way of doing things. Is everybody kept everybody in line. So you'd have one or two people in a rooming house, and everybody else, all the people that didn't have any problems, but they would help the ones that did have a problem out.
Hmm.
And so the people that had problems initially, eventually they didn't have any problems anymore because, you know, the people kind of rallied around them and said, "Hey, stop that, Johnny. Doing drugs is bad. You shouldn't do that anymore." And then Johnny says, "Well, you know what? Maybe that's true. Maybe I should live more like you."
Hmm.
So that was the old model of doing it, and it sounds better to me, rather than just throwing everybody that has the problem and saying that we're going to throw like 1,000 people in the downtown east side and they all have the same problem and somehow they're going to miraculously fix themselves.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah.
that's stupid logic. How do you expect 1,000 people or whatever it is to all congregate together and solve their own problems
Hmm.
when they don't have like a support system around them?
Well, exactly. I mean, there needs to be a support system around to attach to each individual person, and basically work with the individual person and find out what their needs are, what supports and help that they need to help them, get through their addiction and recovery, and give them permanent housing, not none of this shelter garbage, because shelter I find is like a band-aid. It's a quick, easy fix, say. I mean, yeah, and then, oh yeah, but don't worry, we're gonna get more supportive housing for them. A long
Mhm.
waiting list. I say get people housed, get them the help that they need, because hiring a consultant to go downtown east side,
Yeah,
and
let's
then
finish up with that. Let's finish
we're
up with
gonna kind
that.
of blend right into this
Yeah,
one because it kind of coincides with the what we're talking about right now, everyone. So
yeah.
the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction, back in February of this year, apparently quietly they hired somebody. They hired a consultant, and I'll get in
Well,
a moment to
well,
just
I'm
to.
gonna I'm gonna stop you there, Brent, because you know what? Like when we were talking about this off air, like a couple days
Yeah.
ago, you said like kind of how dare Sheila do this kind of thing, and I was thinking to myself like Sheila Malcolm's that I'm talking about, but then I'm thinking, well, you know what? It wasn't Sheila
Although,
Malcolm's. It wasn't her fault.
no, it wasn't her
It
fault. No,
wasn't her fault at all
no.
because you know what? David Eby hired this guy
Mhm.
all on his own in private without telling Sheila Malcolmson at all.
Yeah, that's right, everyone.
So,
Is that even the news hour didn't even know. The public didn't even know. I was shocked when I found this out too. Even and nothing against the BC Conservative Party, they didn't even know. The Green Party didn't even know. Like nobody knew
well,
except
can
for
you can
David
you
Eby.
imagine your own BC minister Sheila
Yeah,
Malcolmson not knowing?
yeah, yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, oh, sorry,
Wow.
Sheila. Whoops,
Yeah,
whoops.
and then
Sorry, my
and then
bad.
And then what came out of it was a communication breakdown between her office and the premier's office. Premier's office didn't communicate with the minister, saying, by the way, you're going to be basically paying $150,000 for 6 months, a base amount, uh, for 6 months plus $25,000 in perks. Yeah, that's right, $25,000 in perks, but there's going to be no accountability. All
Yeah.
we expect you to do is bring in some reports, maybe go to some meetings, but there was nothing written in stone saying that it had to be that way.
And
And
how hard would it have been for David Eby to pick up a phone and say, "Oh, by the way, Sheila, I'm thinking about hiring this guy."
mhm,
And what's his name? Michael Bryant. We should say
Mike,
his name, Michael Bryant. He's got the name. He's going to be the new downtown East Side czar. That was his title, official
the
title.
the expertise that knows everything about how to fix
Yeah.
homelessness in the downtown east side, to kind of go along and say, here's the problem. I've observed a problem. These are my recommendations on how to fix the problem. Well, hello.
And
This problem's been happening since 1970s, but he's going to magically fix
yeah.
it all within 6 months. And maybe they say they could have even went to a year. And
Yeah, and we should say that Michael Bryant is a good personal friend of David Eby.
hmm,
That's a little bit of a issue there, right?
Mm.
So they're best buddies. So David Eby is basically hiring his best buddy.
Oh,
So it was going to be like for a 1 year contract, it was going to be like 300K, $300,000
yeah.
plus $25,000 in extras.
Oh, well, that would have been for the 6 months, so it'd been probably 350 by the time all said and done. Because if
Well,
he,
yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Like,
imagine that,
yeah,
everyone, $350,000,
350
but the government said they're
for
broke.
12.
Oh,
Yeah, they're broke.
yeah,
They're
they couldn't
broke,
raise
but they can.
PWD rates because
Yeah,
we got money, but they were going to go ahead and actually use all that money,
yeah,
$350,000. Wow. I
yeah.
mean, wow. I mean, that could have went to PWD rates. So I guess instead of them putting that money, now they've actually fired Michael Bryant. They fired him because the publicity got
Yeah.
too distracted for the government, apparently.
And you know what? David Eby basically fired him, but he basically gaslights the conservative opposition at the same time. I was saying, well, I wouldn't have had to fire him if you bad conservatives hadn't have blown the whistle on my secretive backroom deal. Like
Mhm.
how dare you blow the whistle on my secretive backroom deal to hire this guy that I didn't tell anybody about. I didn't even tell Sheila Malcolmson, my minister. I didn't even tell my minister, but how dare you blow the whistle on this that it makes me look bad,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, I mean, I was shocked because I hadn't even heard about this either. I'm like, I say, what? They hired this guy back in February, and the public didn't even know. I mean, no accountability. I mean, you go. I mean, I was miffed because the government's saying, "Oh, well, we have no money," and they
Mhm.
go ahead and want to waste, 300 and maybe up to $350,000 to tell
Yeah.
the government something that they already know. Meanwhile, they have city councils in Vancouver who are actually going down there. They know what's going on, and they're getting paid a lot of money already. They have all
Mhm.
their team down there. The cops know what's going on all the time. Can they not report to the government and tell them the same thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I heard about this going on, I thought, whoa, like this does not even make sense.
Yeah.
And again, that's another bad idea that went sour, and
Yeah.
it basically fell right in the premier's, right in his lap, saying, "Oops, did I do wrong here?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
he
we've
sorry
had
for the buck.
we've had podcasts before. We talked about the bad idea hat
Yeah,
and the oops I did it again podcast. Those are two podcasts. The bad idea hat and the oops I did it again. I mean, like again, I don't like. I mean, people say, well, Neil, you're enjoying painting targets on Evie, and honestly, I don't. I, I,
no,
I honestly don't. I'm being serious. I don't like painting targets on David Eby. But if you're gonna be stupid, and again, like I know he's a smart man. I know it. Like
mhm.
you don't become a lawyer by being stupid. You have to be intelligent to become a lawyer. So he's an intelligent man. He is. I know he is. But the problem is if you make stupid decisions and you act stupid and you do stupid things, people are going to start thinking you're stupid, even if you're intelligent.
Well,
You
the way
know?
I see things too, Neil, is when it really directly affects people's lives in a very bad way with what you're going through, uh, and so many other people that I'm sure that it's going through too, and they don't know who to talk to, they don't know who to reach out to. Um, I'm sure they probably write government emails or phone calls and never get a response back. I think that the time's going to come where, when it comes to next voting time, I think maybe things are going to maybe be different. I mean, this government got in with a very slim minority, majority government, but a very slim one, right? And ran with an idea of, well, we're going to, we hear you, people are hurting, the people are suffering, they need help now. Yeah, we're going to get them $1,000 per household because people they're living paycheck to paycheck. I mean that slogan of, oh, they're $200
Yeah.
away from not being able to pay bills. Well, no, hello, they're already that terminology. I need government to change that language because I've talked to many people in the community and they say, I don't even have $200 left from
Yeah.
paycheck. Like I'm already in the red and I'm basically barely treading water.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors in my building had said to me, Okay, so Brent, you're scuba diving, yeah? Okay, I said, well, I don't scuba dive. He goes, right, but you're scuba diving, but it looks like you need a little bit more oxygen in your air tank there. Okay, so we're gonna go down and we're gonna hook up another one, but we're gonna take that one off you. You're gonna lose a little bit of air for a minute. We're gonna hook another one up because it's gonna be better. But meanwhile, you're like gasping for air. But don't worry, here we're gonna lift you further up. Oh, that tank's not working. We need to pull you up a little bit above the water. So now you're treading water,
Yeah.
and but like that's the best we can do. I mean, and there's a lot of people right now. Stats are showing a lot of people are going to food banks. More and more people are
Yeah.
going to food banks. They're putting strain on our food bank services. Kids are going to bed hungry. PWD in the province are going hungry. Across Canada, I mean, our show is for Canadians with disabilities and their allies. And today's episode, we were focusing on BC. And how many stories, David Eby and Minister Malcolmson, and I'm hearing all these stories. People are scared. They don't know who to talk to. They're pleading for help. Stories where people are going days. There's one individual, and I'm not going to say the person's name due to just privacy. But one person has gone 6 days with no food. No food. I mean, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
That's
In
that's
BC,
crazy. That's crazy.
and the person is scared about going to the food bank. You know why? Because they don't want to take food away from families for children. They'd rather suffer themselves and go without. And they say that the BC government Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction doesn't like disabled people. And that's what the person I read, and I went, oh my God. And it
And
said they refuse to raise the support rates after 4 years.
yeah.
The shelter rates
Yeah.
after 2 years, they got rent increases. They have to cut back. I can relate to
Yeah.
having to figure out where to cut back. I'm scared. I'm
Yeah.
scared because
Well,
I have my service providers
yeah.
people. And I just recently dealt with a fiasco with another service provider. I had to completely shut the account down. There was an outstanding amount owing. I paid it out. I was lucky to get another service provider. However, the rates are high, and I look at it as okay. There's no rent increase to go with our supports because that's been frozen for 4 years.
Yeah. They didn't
Meanwhile,
increase their amounts. Yeah.
yeah, food inflation's skyrocket.
Yeah.
We had a visitor here for a few days, and which is wonderful. It gave us a little reprieve from actually having to make some meals, this and that. So it was like, yay, thank
Yeah.
you. However, basically it was brought to our attention that the government needs to wake up and actually do better and actually smarten up and actually raise the rates to a dignified amount. It's
What?
not difficult, David,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
The BC government here, they do have Sheila Malcolmson herself has said, that everybody on PWD assistance can freely go every month and apply for the additional crisis supplement. Every
Mhm.
month you can go and ask for the additional $50 crisis supplement.
Yeah,
But I mean that is begging. Like that is a policy where you're basically saying, you know what, you're on PWD assistance. You have to beg now. You have to
yeah.
beg. You have to beg the ministry office
You,
for $50 every month. You have to beg for it
and then you
because
have to explain why. Why do you need it? Why do you need it? And then
yeah,
half the time you're told by the ministry offices, why do you need it? Well, you need to budget better,
yeah,
do better, prove why. Why do you need it? I
yeah,
mean, why not just add it to their check? Why not just add it to their check and then raise the rates up to no
yeah,
less than poverty level financial support
yeah,
and tie it to COLA, cost of living adjustment?
yeah,
In if Doug Ford in Ontario, and I don't like doing jurisdictional things because it's like pegging disabled against disabled, but this is nonpartisan for everybody listening and watching today. But if one premier can do it, and as a conservative government in Ontario can tie rates to inflation, yes, sadly, Doug Ford in Ontario chose not to raise PWD rates this year in their Ontario budget. Doug, really? Cost
Yeah,
of living is skyrocketing and you didn't do it because you're waiting on the CDB, Canada Disability Benefit.
yeah.
In BC, they didn't raise our support in 4 years. So 2021 was the last time they raised our support. Our shelter portion was frozen at 375 for 16 years. I mean, wow. And the government came along in 2023 and said, here's $125 more. Well, they
Hmm.
took it out of the COVID supplement is what they did, right? But look what
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
Again, government needs to do better. I guess that's kind of a good segue to kind of bounce off to well, actually, it'll be 222 in just one moment. Actually, everyone who's
Oh,
playing that, and I just got a kind of a inkling of that is coming close.
well, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna talk about on Monday.
Yes,
We're gonna have Jeff Leggett
yes.
talk about the PWD uh, poverty or the disability poverty rally
Mm-hmm.
happening in Victoria on what is it on the 20 is it the
The
29th?
29th.
29th, yeah.
Uh, and it is 222.
There you go.
There we go, everyone. And that's a good segue for me to kind of leave it at that is nobody should be living in legislated, imposed,
Yeah.
government imposed poverty. We are supposed to be living in the most prosperous province in Canada. Governments from every stripe, it doesn't matter who is in power, they keep running banging that drum of saying, oh, BC
Mhm.
is leading the Canada, economically. Now they say, oh, due to financial restraints, we
Mhm.
can't raise rates this year. Yeah, 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 I've heard that line many times over a long period of time. Blame it on somebody else why they can't raise the rates, but you can go ahead and give every single MLA of yours, $60,000, say,
Yeah.
as a retainer, all your ministry staff, $18,000 minimum. I mean, that's higher, that's fire, that's higher than fire
Yeah.
in each ministry's office. That costs a lot of money too, eh? I mean,
Yeah.
musical Titanic chairs. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. I mean,
But
all this
we're having Jeff
cover.
on Monday, so we can
Yeah,
leave that
yeah,
till Monday.
yeah. We're gonna there,
And
everyone.
I just wanted to end. I think I sort of have to apologize a little bit because I did kind of lose my cool today. But to be honest, like the reason I'm yelling and the reason I lost my cool is because I'm scared. Like I'm legit scared, Brent.
Yeah,
I am scared shitless for my personal safety
and your family
and my family and
and
for
everybody else in your building.
everybody else that lives in the buildings. Like I
Yep.
said, there's about 100 souls. There's probably about 100 souls that live in this building. I'm scared shitless for everybody that lives here
Yeah, you have
because
every right to feel scared, Neil. And I mean, no need to explain of apologizing for that because I mean, not telling you what to say, but I mean, there's no need to apologize for screaming out in frustration because it's government stupidity, like
it
you said.
just
It
feels like
it's
the government doesn't care.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's the way it's like as a as PWD as we're PWD and hundreds of thousands of other PWD in BC too. We feel like we've been silenced out.
yeah,
And like government has to wake up and actually realize what okay, uh as one thing my mom always taught me, and this is where I'm gonna kind of leave it at that.
yeah,
My mom always taught me one thing, and always stuck in my mind. Brent, when you screw up,
yeah,
right? Admit that you're wrong,
yeah,
apologize,
yeah,
and say, I will do better. I will do better next time.
yeah,
But if there is a deliberate screw up, she said, if there was a
yeah,
deliberate screw up, why did you do that?
yeah,
Why did you do that? Don't do that again. And
yeah,
those are two things that always stuck in my mind. My mom was a very English, like a very strong English lady, everyone. I was brought up by my mom. She was she was right by the book. I mean, a very dear lady though. She would like, I mean, she would give anything if she could to people in the area in her community or friends and family that she could. Um, yeah, like it was she a very caring lady, but at the same
mhm,
time, if you crossed her the wrong way, oh, she let you know it. She let you know that things are not right and you need to do better.
mhm,
So I found out that, and I mean, just growing up of trying to do the things the right way.
Yeah.
Yay. I mean, and the government needs to learn that. I mean, it's obviously, I don't know what happened. I don't know. The government can fix things and get back on track again. Like, let people have confidence that, yeah,
Mm.
we live in a great province. Let's show leadership. Let's work together. Let's communicate and say, hey, what is broken? Listen to the advocates. Listen to people with lived experience. Listen to doctors, nurses. They've all said it. My doctor used to tell me, Brent, the medical system is so
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Administration costs, red tape, and he closed his practice because of that reason.
Yeah.
And now they want to bring more in. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, everyone. I want
Well,
to,
well, and my closing
yeah,
comment, Brent, because
sure,
you promised a lot of mic drops
yeah,
on today's show.
I
So
did.
so my final mic drop is that, the government should not be allowed.
Hmm.
It should be illegal. It should not be allowed for government to do stupid on purpose.
Hmm.
They should not be allowed to do stupid on purpose. And this whole like let's ban SGARs, like
Hmm.
effective poisons that actually kill mice and rats. Let's ban that. Let's
Hmm.
ban that because we'd rather have this beach of Normandy situation where there's always going to be rats and mice
Hmm.
like stampeding into like 20,000 condos across BC. We'd rather have that.
Hmm.
We'd rather have like rat saliva on people's cornflakes and they'll keel over dead. Like
Hmm.
that's stupid. Like the government should not be allowed to do stupid, Brent. They should not be allowed to do stupid. So I'm begging David Eby, please don't do stupid.
Yeah.
Please. Because I'm scared shitless, David Eby. That's my closing comment. I am scared shitless. Legitimately, I am scared shitless. And I want him to care enough to stop doing stupid.
Lift the band,
Please,
David.
please, David Eby, lift the ban and stop doing stupid. That's it. I'm out.
Okay. Thanks, Neil, on that. And, I mean, David, just lift the band. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's,
No, nobody else has it because everybody else is intelligent in this country.
mhm.
Everybody else isn't intelligent, so nobody else has it. We're the only province that's stupid enough to have it.
That's really scary of knowing that that ban was put in place. I mean, it's beyond scary. I mean, hearing your story, Neil, on that and real lived experience situation that you're going through, and I would be scared shitless myself. The government needs to do the right thing, and on so many aspects here. And I welcome members of the government to come on to our show, conservative government, green parties, anybody, any member of parliament, you want to join in, you're watching this, let me know how you feel about this. And maybe David, maybe everybody will start piling on and saying, hey, this is not working, David. Let's just change.
Yeah,
Whoever your advisor is on this, David,
yeah.
okay.
Whoever told you to
Yeah, yeah.
ban rat poison because
Oh, yeah.
rat poison is a bad idea because rat poison actually will kill rats. So
It can kill people.
let's not do that.
Yeah.
Whoever told you that was a good idea is stupid. Is
Hmm.
stupid.
They advised you
Stop doing
wrongly.
stupid. Stop
Okay.
doing stupid.
Yeah. I want to see so many positive changes in this province, and it can happen. Get things back up to a certain standard level where people can start enjoying the province that they're in and prosper within the community that they want to be in. It can happen. It can change in so many ways of person's well-being. Everyone should be able to prosper and enjoy life and live a dignified life with all this red tape and BS and reasons why the government can't do this and that. I always say you have a can-do attitude. Yeah,
Mhm.
we can do better. No more of this. Oh well, there's more to do. I hear you. I hear you. There's more to do. And I'm gonna leave it as a mic drop on that part because that kind of a good segue into our next episode on Monday. We're gonna
Yeah.
have Jeff Leggett from Disability Action of Canada
Yeah.
joining me. I'm really looking forward to that. Jeff's going to be as a kind of a sneak peek. Jeff's going to be talking about our upcoming rally in Victoria, British Columbia later this month.
Yeah.
He'll be talking about all the details, everything that's going on with that. So I look forward to that, and I really hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. I know there was a lot of mic drops, but just remember that rats can be in your building, or they
Yeah.
probably are in your building. You just don't know yet. You won't know until they come out. And how do you get rid of them? You can't. You can't get rid of them.
Not with poison if it doesn't kill them.
No, no,
If the
no.
poison it doesn't kill them, it doesn't,
And then you have to hope that
yeah.
that those rats don't get into your cornflakes.
Yeah. No,
Ooh,
I mean, it sounds like a joke. It
it's not a
sounds like a
joke.
joke, but it's not a joke. We're literally going to have saliva on cornflakes that's going to kill a bunch of people in condos. And David Eby's going to go, oh well, my bad. Anyway,
Yeah, so
we punch out.
we dropped the ball on that one, and so thank you, everyone. Please subscribe, like, and share the content that you're viewing today. Or if you're on the podcast, yeah, you can definitely check out the live episode that was airing today, and go and you'll see under the comments section there's a dollar sign there, and you can just click on it and buy us a copy.
Yeah,
We have,
well, you know what? Like it's live right now, but then it goes to sleep for about 24 hours,
yeah,
and then it comes back again after about
yeah.
24 hours. So you have to kind of like they could have donated now because it's live right now, but then it's going to go to sleep and it's going to wake up again. They'll see
You'll
the
have
dollar bill
yeah.
down below the video there.
Yeah,
So
you'll have the opportunity there, and
yeah,
there's lots of different. It'll give you a whole menu, and you can pick what works good for you.
yeah.
And if you want to be a donor, a constant donor to the channel, definitely reach out to
Yeah.
Neil. You've got an email address and my email address on the bottom.
I wonder if David Eby will be a donor.
Well,
I hope David Eby knows that I honestly don't like putting targets on him. Like I honestly am trying to help him. I'm trying to
mhm,
help everybody in this province, honestly, because
yeah,
it feels
me
like
too.
I'm the only one that cares. It feels like I'm the only one that cares right now to preserve the life of 1.5 million people that live in strata buildings.
Well, that's why our show is so popular,
Yeah,
Neil, because a lot of people are saying, "I love your show." And yeah, I mean, we spice things up. We try to make it as funny and serious, but funny at the same time. Today's episode, yes, we're talking about things that affect people's lives, and yeah, I mean, the rat apocalypse. Yes, I mean,
it's serious.
it's very serious.
It's a serious thing.
And when I talk about rates, we're going to be diving into that on our next episode. Homelessness. I mean, I want to see people having enough revenue to have the housing. I mean, there's lots of housing. It's coming on market right now in
Yeah,
Vancouver alone. There's 2,000 homes that
yeah,
are
that are just
empty,
empty
and there could be 3,500 developers are
because
saying,
nobody can afford it, Brent. Nobody
yeah,
can afford it.
the rent
Mm.
prices are right through the roof. I
Yeah,
mean, nobody's
yeah.
income's that high, but we'll talk another one about
Yeah,
that.
that's another whole
Yeah,
podcast, man. Oh,
yeah,
punch
exactly.
out.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Take care.
Cheers.